I want you to imagine that we are meeting 3 years from today. What needs to have happened, both in your professional life and your personal life, for you to be happy with your progress? Let me say that again. If we were meeting 3 years from today, what needs to happen, both in your professional life and your personal life, for you to be happy with your progress? Now, I came across that question many years ago, and I didn't actually even realize that it was a life planning question. It was quite a few years after that I came across life planning. But I come back to this now and use it as an example. And since then, what I've realized is that if I'm going to run a financial life planning business, where I'm going to help my clients live the best life they can live, I have to be living my life plan too. You cannot take a client further than you've been yourself. And sometimes you just need to hold their hand on the way. It's difficult to do that if you're not living your own life plan. So are you all here today? Are you living your life plan? Have a think. Are you living a life of purpose and meaning? So much of what I'm going to say was touched upon by my good friend here, Paul. And so many of the concepts are familiar to you all. But are you living a life of purpose and meaning? And are you doing the same for your clients? This video back in 2012. At the time, it was really cutting edge. And since then, I can see how things have developed technology. But this still explains what we do without explaining what we do, if you understand what I mean. I am hugely proud, I have to say, of the business that I've created, especially when I think of the journey that I've been on over the last few years. This is my team. We are a firm of 8 financial planners based all around the UK. And that's our support team too. And when I think just a handful of years ago, I would never ever have believed that I would be here today telling you about how I created this business.
Hello, I'm Tina Weeks, and this...
Let's get rid of that. Want to stop them. So one of the things that we love doing in our business is to really help our clients see who we are. So much about financial planning is about the relationship that you have with someone. And for us, we want to give our clients the opportunity to see and feel who we are before they even contact us. But how many times do you go on someone's website, you've read everything there is on the website, and you still don't understand who they are and if you want to work with them? So this is one of the videos we have on our websites, and this is an opportunity for you to find out a little bit about me.
Annual class on. In its original form, it was published in 1926. That's an easy one, yoga and running. I love tea and coffee, and I drink way too much of both. My favourite film has to be Dead Poets Society. Loads of things make me smile, but my kids are always doing stuff that cracks me up. The news. I hate the news. Don't watch the news. It has to be water, but if I had to name a tipple, I love a minty mojito. My favourite app right now is the Fitbit app, because I can see everything that I'm doing, and it also links up to Fitstar Yoga, Runkeeper and MyFitnessPal. I'm not doing it, but my favourite yoga position is Warrior 2.
How many financial planning websites do you know where you get to really see the planners and what their lives are like. I can't tell you how embarrassing it was to do that. But I've learnt to get over that embarrassment and use that so that clients really get to see who I am. Because unless they can trust me and see that I absolutely have their best interests at heart, it's just not going to work. So how did I get here? It's a long story, but I'll start at the beginning. So I have been a financial advisor now for over 20 years. 20 years. And when I started, I was a representative for an insurance company. You know the type where you sell insurance policies, a little bit of investment maybe, some pensions. Nothing that would even constitute financial planning these days. I left university, they sent me off to this really swanky £25 million training centre in Swindon in England. I went in as a graduate, I came out 3 weeks later as a financial advisor. 3 weeks, and I was going around advising people about their finances. I spent 3 years there, and it's what I call a baptism of fire. You know, we had the best training that the industry could provide at the time. But you know, there was nothing about relationships. There was nothing about building long-term relationships with clients that meant you could actually see them throughout their life and make a massive impact. It didn't feel right to me what I was doing. When I decided I wanted to be a financial advisor, in my head, this isn't what it was. 3 years later, I decided I'd go and become an independent financial advisor. I'm not sure if you have that in the Netherlands, but in the UK, it means you're not just tied to one company, one insurance company or one investment company. All it really means is that you're still selling stuff, but from a number of insurance companies. So again, it really wasn't what I was looking for. And I felt that this company that I was with, where mainly we did mortgages and some insurance, it felt very much like a conveyor belt. You know, one client in, sort them out, the next one in, what's your target, how much money we're going to bring in, how quickly can we get through these clients? And it wasn't at all what I expected being a financial planner was going to be. I remember at the time, I went to a networking event. You know, one of these things where you go to in the evening and everyone's having a few beers and talking and you get to know and network with everybody. And it was full of property developers. I started talking to one guy. He said to me, "What do you do?" I said, "I'm an IFA." He said, "Oh, I don't like my financial advisor. Apart from the fact that he has grey hairs sticking out of his nose, I don't believe a word he says, and I don't trust him. I don't believe a word he says, and I don't trust him. Every time he comes round, he tries to sell me a new policy, and I always do what he says because I feel I ought to. I always do what he says because I feel I ought to." You know what? That is not the person I wanted to be. And I'm not sure about the Netherlands, but in the UK, financial advisors just don't really have a good reputation. Okay, the banks are worse. Certainly the banks are worse in the UK. But there still isn't that element of trust in financial advice that actually is an absolute requirement to do this work. So it was a difficult realization for me, and to realize this isn't who I wanted to be. So I left the mortgage brokerage and I set up my own firm. It was called Financial Weeks. Get it? My name? Yeah. Even then, though, it was still a mortgage company. It was the early 2000s. The phone did not stop ringing. Mortgages, mortgages, mortgages. It was great. The business grew so fast. So we set up in 2004, and over the next 3 or 4 years, we grew so fast. It was good, but it still wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be. In the beginning of 2008, I also met Paul Armson, and I realized that there was another way of doing things. And in the beginning of 2008, I embarked upon a 5-year plan to transition my mortgage business to a financial planning business. I knew it wasn't going to be easy, but I'd allowed myself 5 years to do it. Unfortunately, in April 2008, the credit crunch happened. It literally felt like it was overnight to me. I woke up one morning, and the lenders in the UK had introduced dual pricing. I don't know if you had it here, but it meant that a client or a customer could go to the lender directly and get a better deal than I could give them. So they would call me up for a mortgage, and I had to say, I'm really sorry, you should go directly to this lender. So for several weeks, that's all I did. Just kept sending my clients off. I can't even describe how painful that was. At the time, I had 2 children in fee-paying schools. We'd just taken on a big mortgage ourselves for our new property, and I had an office with staff. And I worked with my husband, which meant that 2 incomes suddenly disappeared. The problem is, they didn't come back for a very long time. I have to tell you that throughout 2008 and a number of years after that, I probably came this close to bankruptcy so many times. I remember conversations with my husband. Go and get a job, he said. At least if we have some money coming in, we have some security, it's a bit easier. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do it because it meant I had to cap my ambition. I had to cap my vision, which was to create a financial planning business that delivered a completely different experience for clients. So at the time, many people thought what I did was reckless. Many people thought that what I did was crazy. And some people, maybe just one, thought I was brave. But whatever it is that they thought, that's what I did. I continued with the plan to set up this financial planning business. And then something happened. In February 2009, so not too far later, I went to a talk and I heard George Kinder speak. How many here have heard of George Kinder? Kinder, quite a few. Fantastic. So you maybe had the same experience I did, which absolutely was a light bulb moment for me. All these years, everything I was looking for seemed to come and find me. Here it was, an opportunity to be able to engage with clients in a way that was everything I was looking for. At the time, remember, we were still in the throes of financial difficulties, but much to my husband's horror, I put all the training on a credit card and did all the training back to back. If any of you are familiar with the training, it's a 2-day course, a 5-day course, and then a 6-month mentorship, and it's not cheap. So you can imagine the conversation at home. Oh, honey, I've just put £10,000 on a credit card. Didn't go down too well. But I really believed in it because I could see this was the answer I was looking for. And thankfully, I had the support in the end at home so that I could go off and do it. And I became the first female registered life planner in the UK. And I set about trying to create the business that I had in my head. Because you see, I had this picture in my head for many, many years. I just didn't know this even existed. There was nowhere I could go. I could not get a job with anyone because no one had a business like this. So I had to try and build it myself from scratch. And that's what we did. So today, Serenity Financial Planning is a financial life planning firm. We are the only firm in the UK where all of the financial advisors, as well as being technically qualified, which of course they have to be, are also registered life planners. Now for me, it doesn't matter where you do your training. It's just that I believe the biggest asset the financial planning firm has are its clients. For all of you, your biggest asset is your financial plan, is your clients. Yeah or nay? So if that is the situation, what are we doing? What are we all doing to develop ourselves so that we can communicate in a way that really touches people where it's really important? Paul mentioned touching people at their heart. If you don't do that, you won't get the trust. You won't get the relationship, what I call the attachment relationship, so that you can go on and advise people. And that's why all of us in Serenity Financial Planning, even after we've qualified in our initial training, we're continuously trying to learn and develop and become better at how we communicate with our clients. So before we even look at financial life planning, what is financial planning? For some financial advisors, even this is a novel concept. So this is what I say is financial planning, and a lot of the institutions in the UK say is financial planning. So the first thing is help a client establish their goals in life. You know, that sounds so easy, doesn't it? What are your goals in life? Sometimes, I don't know about you, clients don't even know, right? So we'll come back to that bit. So assume you can establish goals in their life. Work out what their assets and liabilities are. Evaluate the current financial position. Develop a plan or a way to get to where they need to go. Put the plan in place, implement it, make the changes. Monitor and review your plan on an ongoing basis. Sounds so simple, doesn't it? That is the basis of financial planning, a 6-step process. If that's financial planning, what is financial life planning? This is my definition. Financial planning is the exploration and discovery of a client's true goals and ambitions using gentle yet effective methods of inquiry. Then, using financial expertise and ongoing coaching to ensure their vision of the future becomes a reality. I don't sit my clients down and say, come in, we're going to do some life planning. That's certainly what's going to happen in the UK. Clients don't understand it. They don't ask for it. They certainly don't look for it. So when a client comes to me, they tend to come to me just like they come to you. They want some advice about their financial planning. It might be a particular pension issue or an estate planning issue. Actually, to be honest, a few clients recently have come asking for life planning, which was wonderful. But initially, they come in a different way. And when I sit down with clients, they say, I understand, but we do things a little differently here. It's impossible for me to advise you about your finances if I don't understand who you are and what you want to do with your life and who are the important people in your life. And when I explain it like that, no one says, actually, I don't want life planning. Carry on guessing. Is that really what a client wants? Carry on guessing. Because for me, it's all about trying to manage my relationship with the client's relationship with me, and the client's relationship with money. Because, you know, we all have a relationship with money. I have clients who have so much money you wouldn't believe, and they don't sleep at night because they worry that they will run out. Everyone has a relationship with money. My job is to make my clients, or help my clients, have an effective, positive relationship with money. Because how they think about money is how they feel about money. And how they think about money, or how does the way they think about money make them feel about money? I need to know this stuff. I need to understand this so that when I sit down with them, I'm not just talking about the money, because the money is just a tool. The money is just a tool to help all of our clients live the best life that they can live. This is what I call the emotion fan. Anyone who's come to one of my workshops, my coaching workshops, will be familiar with this. So these are the basic emotions that we all have. Those ones over there, they're what we call the survival emotions. So, sadness, shame, disgust, anger, fear. These emotions all had a purpose when we were living in the savannah years and years and years ago. But today, their purpose is diluted because we don't need to look after ourselves in that way. But they're still present. And I promise you, for most of you, when your client comes to see you, for many clients, one of the feelings that they will come into your office with will be on this side. If they are on that side, and to be honest, some of the times, some of the things that dictate whether or not they are on that side is where you are. Because trust me, if you are feeling any of these, the client will know. And what happens is the client feels it too. When a client is in a state of survival emotion, something very interesting happens in the body. When someone is in this state, they feel stress. And stress releases corticoids in your body, the most common of which is cortisol. Cortisol is the stress hormone. And cortisol stops people. Cortisol is a blocker. Cortisol stops you learning. It also stops you making important financial decisions. Any decisions are difficult to make when you have the cortisol hormone running around your body. So if a client is in this state, in this attachment state, how likely is it, do you think, that they're going to make good decisions about their financial future? It's going to be difficult, yeah? So what I want to do is notice where I am. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? And then how does that make me feel? Because what I want is for my client to be on the attachment side. I want my client to feel joy and feel trust. Because unless we have this attachment relationship, I can't advise them. I can't help them. I can't take them to a place where they feel joy for their future. And that's what I want to do. Because you see, everyone has a different measure of success. For some people, it's about profit. For some people, it's how big their company is, how many assets they have. I have a very different measure of success. And for me, it's how many people have I touched? How many people have I changed? How many people have I helped move forward? Because you see, in my business, this doesn't just apply to our clients. It applies to us, and it applies to everyone that works in the business too. That's how I measure success. How are we affecting the people that come into contact with us? And don't get me wrong, I am under no illusion that a company has to be profitable. Because if I'm not profitable, if I'm not successful financially as well, I won't be here in 10 years' time, 20 years' time, to fulfill the promises I made to my clients and their children. And it might not be me personally, but hopefully the business that I've created will be here to fulfill the promises that I've made to people. So this emotion fan is hugely important, and I urge you all, next time you're sitting with one of your clients, just take a moment. take a moment to see, where are you? What are you feeling? If you're anywhere over there, what can you do to come over here? Because when you come over here, there is a higher likelihood that your client will come over here too. And that's when the magic happens. You've heard this before. Clients don't care which fund you're going to put their money in. They don't care which policy you're going to sell them, which investment company you're aligned to. None of that is important. They want to know, what is it I value most? Sometimes clients don't know. We help them identify what it is that they value. They want to know, what do I want my life to feel like? You know, a lot of clients come to me and they say, it just feels like I'm constantly on the rat race trying to get from A to B, and the time just goes so fast and I don't really know what I want to do. And is this it? Is this what life's all about? They also want to know what they want their life to look like and what they need to be doing in 5, 10, 20 years' time. Who do they want to be? And how much money do they need to do all the things they want to be? How can they live a life without regrets? That's one of my favorites. And will they have enough money for themselves and their family? So how do we do it at Serenity? Because it sounds simple, right? I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult to go from a transactional business to one that is completely client-centered financial life planning. We have a 4-stage process. Anything that you see here today, I'm very happy to share with all of you. Feel free to go on my website, cut and paste to your heart's content. Use the information, because you know what? Collaboration, as Paul said, is so important in our industry. Clients want to hear the same message. They want to know, and they feel the confidence that lots of people are saying the same thing and believing the same thing. So anything I have, I'm happy to share. 4-stage process. Stages 1 and 2 are the financial life plan. Stage 1 is where really we do all the life planning work. Stage 2 is the financial planning.
I will put in place a financial life plan for you that gives you the answers to all those really important questions, the most important of which is, will I have enough money to do all the things I really want to do? The first part of this process is a gentle method of inquiry, where I will help you really figure out the things that you want to do and build a very clear vision.
That's on the website too. I don't want clients to have a surprise. You know, if all they want to do is talk about investments, we're not the right company for them. They need to understand that's not how we work. So that's on the website along with the 16 questions video. Part of the life planning work is the kinder work. It doesn't have to be kinder work though. You find whatever suits you to develop yourself, to develop your communication skills so that you can really build that relationship that you have with a client. It's all about the ongoing relationship, I believe. So you can ask the 3 questions, or you can use any of the methodologies that are out there. This is the first question, the first kinder question, if anyone has come across it. So I want you to imagine that you are financially secure, that you have enough money to take care of your needs both now and in the future. The question is, how would you live your life? Would you change anything? Really think about it. Dream big. The purpose of this question is to encourage clients to really dream big. How many financial advisors do that? How many clients expect their financial advisor to do that? See, if a client doesn't dream big, we're not really going to uncover the vision that they have for their life. The second question is a bit more poignant, and it asks clients to imagine that they have just been to see their doctor, and the doctor says they only have 5 to 10 years left to live. Can you imagine that? But why do we ask this question? Why do I allow my clients to face this possibility and imagine it? I'll tell you why. Because we've all heard it. Life is not a rehearsal. Time goes past so fast. Wasn't it summer just 5 minutes ago? And now we're already making plans for Christmas. It just feels crazy. I can't believe my children are 12 and 13. How did that happen? The point of this question is to help clients understand that time is finite. We only have a set amount of time. And if they have things that they want to do, now is the time to do it. Now. Question 3 is a little bit different. This time, we ask clients to imagine they just have one day to live. This question is not about tidying up your house and your estate plan and making sure your will is up to date. That's not the purpose of this question. This question is about encouraging people to think about what regrets they might have. Because you know what? They're not there. They're here. I don't know if you read, there was a study done a few years ago by a palliative nurse in the US who worked with the dying. And she wrote about how all of the people that she worked with had the same regrets. Now let's see if I can remember them. The first one tended to be, I wish I had the courage to live a life that was true to myself and not what others expected of me. Loads of people said that. Another one was, I wish I didn't work so hard. I mean, that's an obvious one. No one is on their deathbed saying, I wish I spent another day in the office. Ugh. Wish I didn't work so hard. I wish I had kept in contact with my friends. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings more. And I wish I had allowed myself to be more happy. Powerful, right? So if we know the answers, why can't we change our behavior now so that we don't get to that point? That's my job with my clients. That's my job, to help them live a life of true freedom, where they spend their time living with purpose and meaning and not worrying about money. You know, what is life all about? Who cares about money? Really? How many people really want to die with a great big pot of money at the end of it? It's not that. Money gives us choices and money gives us freedom, but only if we go forward, move forward with our plans and the things that we want to do, maybe even the legacy that we want to live. So that's stages 1 and 2, asking the questions, preparing the financial plan. It's just gathering the data, and together with the life plan, I won't go through that right now, but anyone can have it. We're also spending time with clients doing the basics. Lots of our clients, when they come to us, if I work with a new divorcee, she doesn't even know how to run a bank account. I'm not selling her anything. I'm sitting down with her and showing her how to budget, how to allocate funds to the things that are important, how to save, how to create disposable income, because this is really funny, but it's so true. If there is no money left at the end of the month, there is nothing to plan with, and this is an important lesson, especially for the children of my clients. We do financial planning free for all the children of our clients up to age 25. I'm really building my clients for the next generation, really, but that's what we do. We use software to show them the results of the life planning and the financial planning together. I'm not sure if you have something similar in the Netherlands, but if you don't, it's just a spreadsheet, really. You just want to show a client what comes in and what goes out each year of their life, and will they have enough? And if they don't have enough, and you can show them a shortfall, this is where your job really comes to the fore, because you can spend the time then to help the clients figure out how they address those shortfalls, how they make changes. This is what they pay our fees for, not to manage their money, which we also do. Anything that they need, we will put in place for them. And this is the most important piece for me. I don't want to be putting financial plans in place for clients that come to me and then leave. That's not how I build a stable business. I want clients that stay with me forever. And this is where the ongoing coaching comes in. You know, when the markets are doing crazy things, they need someone to hold their hand, to say, just hold tight. We've seen this before. We expected this. This is not news. Remember when we sat down, we talked about how the markets will be going up and down all the time. That's not what's important. What's important? Let's revisit your financial plan. How on track are we to achieve those things? That's what's important. I'll let you guys read this, but man sacrifices his health in order to make money, and then he's so anxious about the future that he does not enjoy the present, the result being that he does not live in the present or the future. He lives as if he's never going to die, and he dies never having really lived. Bedankt voor uw aandacht.